It's early. Got a different cup today. My Orange County used to be a show. Orange County Choppers. It's alright for a while. All those shows get old to me because it's the same thing every time. Build a bike. We watched them, but I'm done with it. Anyway, good morning. Got my coffee. I'm ready for Bible's open. Ready to listen to the Word for a little while today. And if anything pops up, I'll say something. But as usual, let's listen to somebody else reading it and see what's going on. Maybe today I'm not ready. Maybe after I get all this divorce over, get moved, and settled into a new place, I can start doing a little bit more in-depth studies and stuff and do the reading myself, just because I do like to get a little bit more theatrical with it than a lot of these other things do. Because the Word of God is alive. It's not meant to be read in monotone. This is what David said, "Praise be to the Lord." Are you kidding me? That ain't the way he said it. I guarantee it. But anyway. Yeah, I'm not awake yet, so if I look a little under the weather, it's just because I was up late last night. I'm up late every night, plus I take meds to sleep, and sometimes I don't wake up right away with them, so I'm doing my best, but, I'm an old guy. That's all I can say. I'm old. Not as old as my dad, but I'm old enough. My dad's getting up there, and I gotta think about the fact that one day I'm gonna lose him. And to be honest, I'm not looking forward to that day because he's a very strong part of my foundational belief. And my gosh, right now he's my financial supporter, I'll be honest. My dad could claim me as a dependent last year if he wanted to, I think. Sorry, I got lost in thought. Wow, I got lost deep in thought there. I didn't even think about the fact that I was streaming. I'm sorry, so bad. Wow. All right, so in our lessons today, we're in Zechariah. We got through 1 through 9 yesterday. We're going to read 10 through 14 today, and we're going to see how that goes, and then probably read a psalm to end it up, so we're not ending up on a sad note. So. Because these prophets can be a little bit tough at times. I mean, even Jesus was tough to listen to. I mean, the guy, he had a hard message. It's not an easy message to follow, not at all. Anyway, all right. So let's listen up.
Zechariah 10. Ask the Lord for rain in the springtime. It is the Lord who sends the thunderstorms. He gives showers of rain to all people and plants of the field to everyone. The idols speak deceitfully. Diviners see visions that lie. They tell dreams that are false. They give comfort in vain. Therefore the people wander like sheep, oppressed for lack of a shepherd. My anger burns against the shepherds, and I will punish the leaders. For the Lord Almighty will care for his flock, the people of Judah, and make them like a proud horse in battle. From Judah will come the cornerstone, from him the tent peg, from him the battle bow, from him every ruler. Together they will be like warriors in battle, trampling their enemy into the mud of the streets. They will fight because the Lord is with them, and they will put the enemy horsemen to shame. I will strengthen Judah, and save the tribes of Joseph. I will restore them, because I have compassion on them. They will be as though I had not rejected them, for I am the Lord their God, and I will answer them. The Ephraimites will become like warriors, and their hearts will be glad as with wine. Their children will see it and be joyful. Their hearts will rejoice in the Lord. I will signal for them and gather them in. Surely I will redeem them. They will be as numerous as before. Though I scattered them among the peoples, yet in distant lands they will remember me. They and their children will survive, and they will return. I will bring them back from Egypt and gather them from Assyria. I will bring them to Gilead and Lebanon, and there will not be room enough for them. They will pass through the sea of trouble. The surging sea will be subdued, and all the depths of the Nile will dry up. Assyria's pride will be brought down, and Egypt's scepter will pass away. I will strengthen them in the Lord, and in his name they will live securely, declares the Lord. Zechariah 11. Open your doors, Lebanon, so that fire may devour your cedars. Wail, you juniper, for the cedar has fallen. The stately trees are ruined. Wail, oaks of Bashan. The dense forest has been cut down. Listen to the wail of the shepherds. Their rich pastures are destroyed. Listen to the roar of the lions. The lush thicket of the Jordan is ruined. This is what the Lord my God says. Shepherd the flock marked for slaughter. Their buyers slaughter them and go unpunished. Those who sell them say, Praise the Lord, I am rich. Their own shepherds do not spare them. For I will no longer have pity on the people of the land, declares the Lord. I will give every one into the hands of their neighbors and their king. They will devastate the land, and I will not rescue anyone from their hands. So I shepherded the flock marked for slaughter, particularly the oppressed of the flock. Then I took 2 staffs, and called one Favor, and the other Union, and I shepherded the flock. In 1 month I got rid of the 3 shepherds. The flock detested me, and I grew weary of them, and said, I will not be your shepherd. Let the dying die, and the perishing perish. Let those who are left eat one another's flesh. Then I took my staff called Favor and broke it, revoking the covenant I made with all the nations. It was revoked on that day, and so the oppressed of the flock who were watching me knew it was the word of the Lord. I told them, If you think it best, give me my pay, but if not, keep it. So they paid me 30 pieces of silver. And the Lord said to me, Throw it to the potter, the handsome price at which they valued me. So I took the 30 pieces of silver and threw them to the potter at the house of the Lord. Then I broke my second staff called Union, breaking the family bond between Judah and Israel. Then the Lord said to me, Take again the equipment of a foolish shepherd. For I am going to raise up a shepherd over the land who will not care for the lost, or seek the young, or heal the injured, or feed the healthy, but will eat the meat of the choice sheep, tearing off their hooves. Woe to the worthless shepherd who deserts the flock. May the sword strike his arm and his right eye. May his arm be completely withered, his right eye totally blinded. Zechariah 12. A prophecy. The word of the Lord concerning Israel. The Lord who stretches out the heavens, who lays the foundation of the earth, and who forms the human spirit within a person, declares, I am going to make Jerusalem a cup that sends all the surrounding peoples reeling. Judah will be besieged as well as Jerusalem. On that day, when all the nations of the earth are gathered against her, I will make Jerusalem an immovable rock. For all the nations, all who try to move it will injure themselves. On that day I will strike every horse with panic and its rider with madness, declares the Lord. I will keep a watchful eye over Judah, but I will blind all the horses of the nations. Then the clans of Judah will say in their hearts, The people of Jerusalem are strong, because the Lord Almighty is their God. On that day I will make the clans of Judah like a fire pot in a woodpile, like a flaming torch among sheaves. They will consume all the surrounding peoples right and left, but Jerusalem will remain intact in her place. The Lord will save the dwellings of Judah first, so that the honor of the house of David and of Jerusalem's inhabitants may not be greater than that of Judah. On that day the Lord will shield those who live in Jerusalem, so that the feeblest among them will be like David, and the house of David will be like God, like the angel of the Lord going before them. On that day I will set out to destroy all the nations that attack Jerusalem. And I will pour out on the house of David and the inhabitants of Jerusalem a spirit of grace and supplication. They will look on me, the one they have pierced, and they will mourn for him as one mourns for an only child, and grieve bitterly for him as one grieves for a firstborn son. On that day the weeping in Jerusalem will be as great as the weeping of Hadad Rimmon in the plain of Megiddo. The land will mourn, each clan by itself, with their wives by themselves, the clan of the house of David and their wives, the clan of the house of Nathan and their wives, the clan of the house of Levi and their wives, the clan of Shimei and their wives, and all the rest of the clans and their wives. Zechariah 13. On that day a fountain will be opened to the house of David and the inhabitants of Jerusalem, to cleanse them from sin and impurity. On that day I will banish the names of the idols from the land, and they will be remembered no more, declares the Lord Almighty. I will remove both the prophets and the spirit of impurity from the land, and if anyone still prophesies, their father and mother to whom they were born will say to them, "You must die, because you have told lies in the Lord's name." Then their own parent will stab the one who prophesies. On that day every prophet will be ashamed of their prophetic vision. They will not put on a prophet's garment of hair in order to deceive. Each will say, "I am not a prophet. I am a farmer. The land has been my livelihood since my youth." If someone asks, "What are these wounds on your body?" they will answer, "The wounds I was given at the house of my friends." Awake, sword, against my shepherd, against the man who is close to me, declares the Lord Almighty. Strike the shepherd, and the sheep will be scattered, and I will turn my hand against the little ones. In the whole land, declares the Lord, 2/3 will be struck down and perish, yet 1/3 will be left in it. This third I will put into the fire. I will refine them like silver, and test them like gold. They will call on my name, and I will answer them. I will say, "They are my people," and they will say, "The Lord is our God." Zechariah 14. A day of the Lord is coming, Jerusalem, when your possessions will be plundered and divided up within your very walls. I will gather all the nations to Jerusalem to fight against it. The city will be captured, the houses ransacked, and the women raped. Half of the city will go into exile, but the rest of the people will not be taken from the city. Then the Lord will go out and fight against those nations as he fights on a day of battle. On that day his feet will stand on the Mount of Olives, east of Jerusalem, and the Mount of Olives will be split in two from east to west, forming a great valley, with half of the mountain moving north and half moving south. You will flee by my mountain valley, for it will extend to Azel. You will flee as you fled from the earthquake in the days of Uzziah king of Judah. Then the Lord my God will come, and all the holy ones with him. On that day there will be neither sunlight nor cold, frosty darkness. It will be a unique day, a day known only to the Lord, with no distinction between day and night. When evening comes, there will be light. On that day living water will flow out from Jerusalem, half of it east to the Dead Sea, and half of it west to the Mediterranean Sea, in summer and in winter. The Lord will be king over the whole earth. On that day there will be one Lord, and his name the only name. The whole land from Gibeah to Rimmon, south of Jerusalem, will become like the Arabah. But Jerusalem will be raised up high, from the Benjamin gate to the site of the first gate to the corner gate, and from the tower of Hananel to the royal wine presses, and will remain in its place. It will be inhabited, never again will it be destroyed. Jerusalem will be secure. This is the plague with which the Lord will strike all the nations that fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh will rot while they are still standing on their feet. Their eyes will rot in their sockets, and their tongues will rot in their mouths. On that day people will be stricken by the Lord with great panic. They will seize each other by the hand and attack one another. Judah too will fight at Jerusalem. The wealth of all the surrounding nations will be collected, great quantities of gold and silver and clothing. A similar plague will strike the horses and mules, the camels and donkeys, and all the animals in those camps. Then the survivors from all the nations that have attacked Jerusalem will go up year after year to worship the King, the Lord Almighty, and to celebrate the Festival of Tabernacles. If any of the peoples of the earth do not go up to Jerusalem to worship the King, the Lord Almighty, they will have no rain. If the Egyptian people do not go up and take part, they will have no rain. The Lord will bring on them the plague he inflicts on the nations that do not go up to celebrate the Festival of Tabernacles. This will be the punishment of Egypt and the punishment of all the nations that do not go up to celebrate the Festival of Tabernacles. On that day, holy to the Lord will be inscribed on the bells of the horses, and the cooking pots in the Lord's house will be like the sacred bowls in front of the altar. Every pot in Jerusalem and Judah will be holy to the Lord Almighty, and all who come to sacrifice will take some of the pots and cook in them. And on that day there will no longer be a Canaanite in the house of the Lord Almighty.
Wow. Sometimes it is amazing to me just how things go. So that was the end of Zechariah, by the way. Ooh, wow. Esther, and then the next one that comes is, well, no, we already read Job because chronologically, Job comes in the Old Testament like way early. People, yeah, that's one thing. That's another story for another day, but that's something I've learned that Job, they're not sure whether it's a true story or just an what is it called? Analogy? Whatever. It's one of those stories that's made up to, my brain is farting, made up to tell a point, to prove a point. we're not sure that it's a true story about what happened, but it does bring a point to, but it very possibly could have been. But the time that it was written and took place was actually before the flood. So when we were reading chronologically in the beginning of this, the chronologically, Job comes somewhere before Noah. That's always interesting. Noah, Job, the story of Job came during that time. And I'm finding it interesting, the books that they found of the Apocrypha, which I haven't had a chance to read, which are some of the things I'm going to read next. I'm actually going to see if I can find it on Audible, but the point is that there's when you look at the Bible in chronological order, it makes a lot more sense than when you look at the Bible at the way its books are put in the Bible. They're there for a reason. They're there the way they are because God wanted them there, and that's fine. But getting an idea of where they actually happen in place sometimes helps put the story of the history of the world together and the history of Christianity. Because really, that's what the Bible is. It's the history of Christianity prior to today, prior to the birth of Christ and the walk of Christ. And then after that, we use that to basically follow. And all writings after that are there is nothing to me that says that there's not inspired writings of God out there. I've read some books that I firmly believe were inspired by God, and because they firmly help me understand and put perspective the ideas in the Bible into today's terminology. Sometimes that's where we have issues, is taking an idea that had something to do with people who are living in an era when women just didn't even talk. They just didn't. And things like that. So women weren't allowed to speak in the church. Women weren't allowed to do things like that as leaders. They could help each other and pray and all that. But, I don't have a problem with that. That's not what it is. Today, there are women out there who I listen to and go, wow, that was amazing. Thank you. You really helped my walk. And then there's other times where it's like, whoa, I don't know about that. But, but when we take the stories and the things from the Bible and we start to put today's spin on them, that's where we run into issues of translation and issues of whether or not we're interpreting the Bible correctly. At this point in time, it's the same as every day. We got to put faith in it and trust that that's why we read it ourselves, because other people are going to tell us one thing and then the Bible, we're going to read it and God's going to go, yeah, this is what I want you to get out of that. And just like, oh. So one verse can mean many different things to different people and yet still have the exact same meaning. But individually, they look at it and go, okay, yeah, this verse helped me in this way. Well, yeah, that's cool. It helped me in this way. And it may not be the same way, yet it helped them and it has the same meaning. So it's good. And as I'm sitting here talking to you, my mind is thinking about something else, and that's the fact that I'm thinking about going back to school. Because for me, that's what I love to do. I love to study. I love to write. I love to have something to focus on and something in what's the word I'm looking for? Hang on. Inspect, to understand, to prove wrong. That's a doctorate. I don't want to do a doctorate though right away. I'm actually thinking I want to go back and actually get a history degree, because there's some history that I want to look at, and then I want to actually focus on biblical history and try and put this chronological thing into a little more perspective. And also, there is one thing that I would like to do, and that is to see if I can find a way to prove, well, at my age it'll never happen, but I could start it, to show people that the things that they're uncovering, oh my gosh, we found this jungle in the desert, or we've temple and buried in the jungle, and it's been there for thousands of years and we've never known it was there. and we found all these markings on the ground. They're trails in the dirt, and they're shapes when you look at them from the sky, and and people are, where did these people go? What happened to them? They just vanished. They just disappeared. Yeah, it's called the flood. Duh. Um, and I would love to be able to show how that maybe works into history. Um, I got a lot of reading to do, so it's one of those things I'm going to be doing some reading and listening to things while I'm doing work. I've made a decision about my life, though. I know where I'm going from here. Papu is going to be getting a condo, townhome, or apartment or something, and I'm just going to live. And just video game study. That's what I want to do. I want to work and study. I want to play games and study and go to school. Play games, study, and go to school. And if I can find the financial backing to do it, I will, because I'm really excited about the idea of studying and playing video games and streaming about the Bible. And the more I talk, the more I enjoy the idea of talking about the Bible and actually looking and studying. So I'm really hoping that maybe I'll get some people to follow me on this one, and I think I might actually set up a whole new profile on Twitch for that. Not because I don't want my Christian walk to interfere with my everything else in my life. It all is part of the same thing. I'm not a perfect example, but the only perfect example of a good Christian was Jesus. None of us will ever be as perfect as him. We strive to, but we can't. God knows I can't. Anyway, I enjoyed my time with you this morning. Hopefully one day I'll get some more viewers. I would love to update my profile and stuff, but people want me to pay them for it, and I don't have the income to do it. I don't have enough followers who are interested in following me and watching. I don't do enough fun stuff, I guess. I don't know. Well, I've also had trouble with my stream because of internet, but that will be fixed. But I also have upgraded that a little bit to help me so that hopefully I can do the streaming and gaming. But I plan on talking more, and you know what? I think I might have found. I think I might have found something that I might want to do, and I think going to school might be kind of cool because I can talk about some of this stuff with you guys while I'm studying, and it would be kind of cool to learn. So I actually think, you know what? That's what I want to do. I'm never going to be able to do the physical labor I used to do. I worked my butt off when I was younger, construction, and I played my butt off. I did some dangerous stuff, man, and I'm paying for it now. Used to be I could hardly break a bone. Nowadays, it doesn't take much. My bones are getting so brittle and fragile, it's not even funny, especially now that I'm losing weight because I'm not lifting anymore. I can't afford it. I have some weights I'm going to try and fix and clean up and use, but I'm actually contemplating next year just buying, depending on where I'm at. If I can find a good townhome or condo that has a gym in it, I can just use that stuff. But, man, I got to get my thoughts under control. Anyway, you guys have a good day. Papu is going off for right now. I have to go into town and take care of some stuff for my divorce and take care of some stuff for some bills, legal purposes that have been in collections. So I am going to go take care of all this stuff this morning, and then I'll be back online this afternoon to game for a while, quite a while actually. I got to practice Apex, and then I want to practice a couple other games, Destiny, and there's one or two new ones I've heard about that I'm actually interested in looking into, so I'm going to look into those. All right, you guys, have a good day. I will chit-chat with y'all later. I'm not perfect, not by any means. I'm just here to share what I know and what the Word says. Y'all have a good day. God be with us, bless us, and keep us safe. Amen.